Yeah, happy for our team, and especially Ace Buckner. He's been hanging in there with us, and I told him earlier, I think it was either right before Mercer, or like the days are running together, that hang in there. I think you're going to have some good time here soon. And he's practiced a little bit better, and I felt like this would be a good game for him, and he was great. And obviously that was a big difference for us, was Zach being out. He really helped do a lot of good things for our team. Thought defensively we were good most of the night. Obviously Michi's a terrific player, and he was the guy we were trying to really do a good job on. Our guys were alert to that, and if we'd have made some free throws, it probably would have been a little bit more relaxing ending. But this is a good win, another quick turnaround after the Mercer and BYU games. It's a lot in a short amount of time, and just proud of the way our guys responded. Questions?
Seemed like Ace was really putting his head down, getting to the basket, driving well, but he was finishing.
Yeah.
How much can that do for his confidence?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, he's a strong guard, plays with great leverage, and has the ability to do those things. And some of the way they play, you're going to be forced to drive the ball some like that. They're staying home on a lot of three-point shots and limiting your threes. So they're challenging you to finish those tough plays, and he was good enough tonight to be able to do some of that. So that was good, and certainly big momentum for him. He'll build off that.
Zach Foster, do you have any idea?
I don't know. He's going to get an MRI tomorrow, and we'll know more then.
Was it an ankle or
knee?
Knee. Okay.
How about what? Was that groin?
I think it was a groin, or I don't know. I'm sure there's a fancier word that they said in there that I didn't really listen to, but they think he'll be fine in a couple days.
As great as Ace was, a little bit of a learning moment for him when he got his own rebound down there at the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in these games for our team. Yeah, he needed to bring that one back out, but I'm sure when you're playing as well as he was playing tonight, he felt like he was going to make that one. He also had 6 defensive rebounds, which was huge. So he was playing both sides of the ball very well.
Talked about Ace practicing better. I guess what were you seeing in practice?
Just the same things. I mean, he's a confident kid. It's ironic, in the Mercer game, he actually made a defensive error or two early, and that kind of sat him over there longer than he would have liked. I planned on letting him go a little bit, but then the game was not going well for our team. He made a critical error, gave up a 3 on something that we'd practiced for 2.5 days, and it just, you can't do those things. Like, we can't have those kinds of mistakes. It was one of the main things in the scouting report, and hopefully he learns from it. And obviously tonight he was terrific, and we needed him, and he's a good player. I mean, we have a lot of confidence in him, and he's just a freshman, so very bright future.
Over the course of the whole season, you play a lot of big games, but where does this one kind of play out in that, and to rebound from the way last year's game finished?
Yeah, no, obviously it's a big win, and it becomes a little more challenging with the first time maybe in I don't know how many years we don't have a South Carolina kid on our roster, and so and you have so much turnover in your rosters. Lamont and I talked about it a little bit, like that the rivalry for kids that are just getting there isn't, maybe you're kind of selling it a little bit yourself as the coach. Now you come out and there's a great crowd, that helps, right? Let everybody know how important the game is. But it was a good win against our rival and in-state one that'll make a lot of Clemson people happy this week and throughout the year, and the coaches too. So that's great, and but then it'll be on to the next. Like, Cincinnati's right around the corner.
Carter had a really good game except for the free throw line. Kind of an aberration for him.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he's been shooting the ball much better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it gets in your head a little bit. He had a couple that looked really good and just kind of hit back iron and bounced around. But more importantly, it was just he did some good things late in the game in ball screen defense. There's just so many different things that you're exposed to. And a guy like that coming up in levels, the physicality, the finishing at the rim, sometimes just catching the ball with all the pushing and shoving with heavy people, elbows in your back, and then you got to try to finish. And, I think the other thing is there's a wearing effect. Like, you're tired. I mean, mean, this was not an up and down game, especially in the second half. But when you're asked to guard 2 ball screens in a possession and you're 25 feet from the basket and you're got to get back in there and then rebound and run the floor. I mean, there's a reason it's hard. These aren't drive-away free throws.
But the way you guys have played the better teams on your schedule to this point, how good do you feel about this group as you start to head towards
Yeah,
the season?
I mean, I'm feeling good about our team. I like what we have. I think we have some versatility. I'm crossing my fingers that things are going to be good with Zach because he's another important piece that, brings a different element with size at the position and speed. But I think we're improving, which is important. So yeah, I like what this team has done. We've challenged ourselves in a lot of games. We've played well in different venues. We haven't always finished, but that's not easy to do against some of the teams we've played.
Coach, you went back to what you were doing earlier in the year, subbed out all 5 starters, brought in the bench. What were you looking for there, and what did you see from those guys?
Yeah, really good. In fact, the starters, I think we were down 4 points in their 4-minute run, and then the bench guys, we've kind of done that again. We did it for Mercer, and the bench guys played better. Well, the bench guys did not play as well. The starters had us off to a good start offensively, but just getting those guys in and getting them going because we knew we were going to need them. And that group, like I said, they practice together a lot, so they're comfortable. Some of the offensive stuff we run with them is a little different, so it's another thing for an opponent to prepare for. And I thought those guys, you get their feet wet early and see who's playing well, and then how much trust. Like I thought Chase Thompson played well. I thought he gave us good minutes in the second half in the middle part of the game, especially on the defensive end. I thought he was helpful. So that was great time for him.
Dave Davidson had, I think, 5 turnovers today.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to see. I saw that when I was looking at the stats real brief, and I was kind of trying to remember them, and I can't really remember them off the top of my head. I know he had a couple tough plays inside, but that's not really who he is. He hasn't done that all year, but they were swiping. I thought he did some good things defensively because he was guarding Studi for a good bit and did a nice job.
You mentioned a few games ago that 5 guys weren't exactly screaming as this is the best 5 that needs to be in the game every end of game situation. Are you okay with the fact that you might not have that right now, or you're still?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would love as a coach to have a go-to guy and 5 guys, 3, 4, 5 guys that you feel really comfortable. I think we have some of those, but that's one of the things that makes our team good. RJ Godfrey has finished most of the games, and there've been games when Carter Welling's over there. Or Nick Davidson's over there, and today Carter Welling was playing well. RJ kind of got into some foul trouble, and then Carter was doing some great things in ball screen coverage, and so we kind of rode him for a while. And that's why we have a chance to have a good team, is we have multiple guys that you hope you can go to, and you're hoping that one of them's going to play well that night, and the interior, and usually those guys have.
How do you even make the call between RJ and Carter? Like they've been flipping a little bit starting around.
Yeah, just some of it's feel, some of it's opponent. Like they started their big guy in the second half, and I just felt like I didn't want RJ to get a 3rd foul right away. I figured they're going to go at him with a post up or something like that. It happened to us in Georgetown in the first half of one of the early plays, and I just, it was just a gut, like, hey, let's go with Carter right here and put size on size, and I think it was good, and to Carter's credit, he really responded.
Coach, with the addition of the 41 patch, what have you told the guys about the pride they feel and the legend of Eldon?
Yeah, we've talked about it a little. We haven't gotten into it, in crazy depth. It's like this has been a lot for our players here these last couple days. Just everything just keeps flipping with finals and then game preps and meetings to get ready for games, but obviously we have talked about him being a Little John legend, and I think they know that he was a pretty doggone good NBA player. It's sad because he was coming around a little bit more here recently, and obviously you'd love for your players to meet those guys, and we've gotten to meet some of the Little John legends and just other former players that come through here. But you know, I spoke about this maybe last game or whatnot. I think it says a lot about who Eldon Campbell is as a man, that they're doing a moment of silence in all the different NBA arenas that they were doing it. They didn't just do it at one. I mean, he left an impact at a lot of different places, and they don't do that for just a guy who's a pretty good player. They do that for you because of what you're about. And so that was kind of what we talked about with our team.
Any more questions for Coach?
Can you give us it's on to Cincinnati?
It's on to Cincinnati. Go Tigers.
Thanks, Coach.